Hello everyone, and today I'm going to be doing a tutorial about the voice and dialogue system at the request of someone who bought the system, and they basically want to know how can I make the player use the system. So you want, instead of using just NPCs, how do you make the player itself be one of the people speaking? And it's relatively easy. So if we go into our text and voice dialogue main folder, let's open up our example map where we have all of our example stuff set up. And I'm basically just going to be editing one of the conversations to include the player instead of the NPC. So I'm going to go into one of these guys. So I'm going to click on this one, dialogue conversation 1. I'm going to edit it right here. And let's go over here. And so you can see over here where we do the server start dialogue, we are basically getting speaker by index. And then we have the index 0, index 1, blah, blah, blah. That is because over here, we are setting up the speakers right over here. So what you can do is go over here, and I'm probably going to edit this function over here. So I'm going to double click it. And I'm going to go over here into this function. I'm going to create a new input, and I'm going to say, I don't know, I'm probably going to do something like is player ? And if it is a player, I'm just going to do something. So I'm going to Alt B and click to get a branch. Let me do some space. So if it's not the player, I'm going to do normally, I'm going to use the index of the speaker. But if its player is turned true, I am then going to copy and paste the return node, Control C, Control V. I am going to make a speaker, and I'm going to say the name is the player or whatever you want your player to be named. And then the speaker actor, you can make, well, I'm going to assume this is going to be a single player game. If you're doing a multiplayer game, then you need to pass on the speaker actor in a different way. So you need to actually say what is the player character itself and not an index. But if you do this, get player character, or you can even do get player pawn, then it's going to just grab the client-side player, which means if it's a single-player game, it's always going to be the player. If you do this in a multiplayer game, it's basically going to grab the server pawn. So just leaving it like this, so we can compile and save. Go into the event graph. Sorry, not in this one. You can close this blueprint. And I'll go over here and let's say, okay, I want this guy to be index 0. But then in index 1, I want it to be the player. So this index is basically not going to be used. So you can, for example, set it to a negative index, which is invalid, and just do is player to true. And then I'm good, thanks for asking. It's basically going to be the player saying this. So now if I compile and save and get close to this, well, it's going to start at begin play. So I can just press play and wait.
So, Jane, how are you? It's been a while since we talked.
I'm good. Thanks for asking.
You don't sound good.
There you go.
Are you sure everything's okay?
I don't know. At the moment, you know?
So I'm not sure if you guys noticed, but the second script, which is the one we said to use the player, played at right at the location of the player character. So it was coming equally from the left side of the headphones and the right side as well. And you could say that it said player, which is the option that we set up over here. So that's basically how you make the player be part of the dialogue. And it basically works exactly the same way. So if you want, well, I can just quickly show you some proof that this is actually playing on the character, because it's a little bit difficult to tell. So if I double click here, there's going to be a mess of, stuff. You can just ignore most of it. I'm just going to go to the end here, or I guess to the beginning, right before the sequence. You don't need to do this, by the way. It's just a debug thing. And I'm just going to do draw debug point. And I just want to draw this at my speaker location. So I'm going to get actor location from the spoken by, connect it here. Then I'm going to say the duration 10 seconds. It can be black, and then the size something like, I don't know, 15 centimeters. So if we just save this and then press play.
So, Jane, how are you? It's been a while since we talked.
I'm good. Thanks for asking.
You don't sound good. Are you sure everything's okay?
I think the point is a little bit too small. So I'm probably going to need to increase the size to something like 100.
So, Jane,
Maybe-
how are you? It's been a while since we talked.
I'm good. Thanks for asking.
You don't sound good. Are you sure everything's okay?
I don't know.
There you go. So you guys could see that at first when this guy started to speak, it appeared the point here. Then on the second, it was the player turn and it spawned right at the player. And then when it was this NPC turn, it spawned right in this NPC. So you can just see that it's actually working. I just wanted to show that. And yeah, that's it. You can just delete that if you did it. And yeah, that's how you do it. Now, if you want specifically this to work for multiplayer, let me know and I can do a follow-up video showing how to set up this for multiplayer. It will be a little bit more complex because we then need to get this player pawn based on who interacts with the conversation, or by giving an extra option here to choose a player index. So instead of just having name and speaker actor, we're going to have to create a specific player index so that it can choose between the players. Or for example, it can choose the player that is closest to the conversation or whatever. We need some way to identify which player we want, but mostly when you want to do this, it's normally for single players, so this should work just fine. So yeah, that's going to be it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully the person that asked for this, is feeling that this helped. If not, please let me know, and again, I'll do another video explaining some other way. And yeah, that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.